is the way it is. We have selected a ruin. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology. Yes, we cover everything here. Anything spiritual, your ascension symptoms, the astrology, your twin flame path, and your psychic updates. So let's have a look at how this month is panning out for you. And yes, during the month we will have other updates. Now, I do feel this month for you guys, at a very personal level, there is a big shift. Now, we are having Aries and Chiron move retrograde. That is occurring on the 15th. Hi, Giggle. And for you guys, this can be a time in which you are looking at all your contracts, but you're also looking at maybe some emotions or beliefs that you held in the past, as well as how you can change those things about, how you relate, what your part was in circumstances, where you can take your power back. And definitely from a collective level, I do connect in, hi Jan, with both masculine and feminine polarities, and that's within ourselves as well as within each zodiac. So each zodiac will directly deal with it in a bit of a unique way. I will say for the masculines of this zodiac sign, you do have a lot of aspects that are really pushing you into your inner power. And there is something to do with inner child and co-creative energy. So if this is relating to your employment element of things, you can really be moving fiercely into it to try and achieve those things. You might have this kind of lightning bolt, emergency scenario shit where you're feeling you've got to do something. What do you directly do? But there can be this psychology surrounding frustration of last month. And yes, I am recording this at the very end of June. But really we are looking at the energy moving in. So we did move through the 2 eclipses and then the full moon in Capricorn. So for many of us, we are moving into the month of July very, very fatigued. Feeling as though something has to give, feeling as though we are quite exhausted. And really 2021 is a vibration 5, so it can feel as though we can't see the hay for the clouds. We're really getting no momentum. During the time in which Jupiter is retrograde in Pisces, and really up to the 28th of June, we did have sort of a light bulb moment. It's like, okay, in order to get some sense of balance, both it needs to happen inside ourselves as well as within our environments. I do feel there's regret of the past, but it's almost like yes, spiritually, when we're looking at wounds, we are crying over spilled milk, but I don't really feel it's coming through that way. I feel you're becoming very strict with yourself, but you do really, you are really frustrated by the Mercury retrograde. I'll just say that. You do have Mercury energy coming through in reverse, and it has exhausted you. And I do feel you're taking the psychological approach of really assessing what you need to do and how you felt, and making very honest, earnest, what would the word be? Logical actions to move forward. I don't think you're going to do anything rash. I think you're being very practical about what you can and can't do. I do feel it's really important to balance the yellow chakra. Now, the beautiful thing is there can be aggravation in that area. So if it does come to your creative projects and you feel you're getting no momentum, you can do a guided meditation on the inner child as well as the third eye. So some of you guys might have been experiencing headaches. It might have been, again, self-esteem is coming through, but the headache element of things, as well as frustration relating to getting things off the ground, launching things, again, family. This is going to ease up, but you could be very direct in your approach. So you may be a little bit more snappy in the first week, which for all of us collectively, that's coming through. There's some real hard tension points, and we do need to be very careful about looking after our well-being, both emotionally, psychologically, and physically. So many of us have been purging, detoxing, and sometimes this can really naturally come through, especially with both Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. It's almost like certain things that we were doing just won't work anymore. So there is the body's auric system that will directly detox off it. Now, I'm seeing that you're making a very logical approach to you've had an epiphany. Now, with this epiphany, the Abraham Hicks card that you have, flawed premises can't attract true unwanted evidence. So you feel something's not quite right. And it's not necessarily, you're taking an honest look at circumstances or patterns of habits, maybe what's happening in the collective, but regardless, this is really personal to you. You are seeing a pattern and you're wanting to break it. And this does relate to both love and contracts. I do feel this is going to balance out, but you are taking a very practical approach. And initially it may feel very eye-opening. It might feel very, okay, you know, how do I look at this? Now, movement and changes may be slow and steady wins the race. Let's quickly look at your chart and see some of the elements that can really hit. Now, number one, I would say we are having Aries and Chiron on the 15th move retrograde. Venus currently is in the house of Leo. This is a very fertile time for you. No, I'm working. Children. It can be a very creative time for you. Now, with the native spirit cards, I feel you're wanting to move forward. Can you please remove yourself? My daughter's in the room.
Where's my laptop?
It's not here. It's in the office downstairs and it has my paperwork on it. Don't touch it.
I need to love you.
You're interrupting, which is disrespectful. I do not have the time. We have lockdown here, okay? So I have a teen in the house. I feel you guys are wanting to move forward. This is with contracts, but it can be that you're needing to just leave things, okay? It's like, okay, this isn't working. Yes, obviously you need to then apply a different approach. It does feel there's going to be a slight stagnancy in the first week, but it's almost like slow and steady wins the race. But again, I am feeling, especially with the ruin that you have, you've got exactly the same ruin as Libra. Exactly the same one, which your shadow sign is Libra. So as Aries and Chiron moves retrograde, you are really reflecting upon your romantic connections, past, present, future, where you're going, how you directly feel, and what your part was in it. And as for Libra, Libra will also be feeling, okay, how is that directly outside of my control? Where did I have that? So you guys in the shadow phase are really mimicking each other. There is this mimicking element of looking at all things foundational, all things romantic, contractual, and you know, it's really painful when we have these revelations that we realize maybe not necessarily have we been on the wrong path, maybe some adverse situations have come into our life, some direct experiences. But I do feel you're being really, really bluntly honest with yourself about how you can move forward, what those circumstances are going to mean, but you're taking the logical approach. Now, I'm going to read from the book of how this is coming through. It is to do with your childhood. It is, and we were doing this with the Cancer Capricorn axis. Now we're having the new moon in Cancer on the 10th. So all of us collectively are having this shift. It can remind us of 2020 when all of this, you know, in the collective of what's happening. I'm speaking quite encoded here. You know what I'm talking about. So it really does take us back to that point. It was where our stability was, where maybe we had to be codependent. Love of God, Mercury is really doing my head in today. I do apologise. Now my partner's calling me in between. Constellation Cancer. Colour green, water, earth. Now the two time frames I'm seeing for all zodiacs as well as Aries is between Juno going direct. It really is by mid-month. Now, I'm seeing a few cards here in a timestamp of a transformation. I do feel the first week you may come to a point where there's a lot of regrets, okay? It's like, okay, what do I need to leave behind? Where was my childhood at? Why did these things happen to me? When I pour my energy into things, why don't they turn out the way I anticipated? Guilt, regret, inadequacies. We all collectively are going to go through this. The changes that you're making, you know, some of you are really tired because you feel no matter what you've done, and it is a process of elimination. So sometimes it can be a business-related dynamic and we're trying. You know, we're trying to go with the flow. We're testing different theories and something simply isn't working. Now, I always say it's a process of elimination. I really do feel that for you, Aries. I do feel initially you may feel the stagnancy and it can become stifling, and then it's moving into self-preservation mode of actually reacting and directly doing something, but you're going to get the clarity in it within the first week. I do feel these stresses, yes, initially you are ready to take a leap of faith. You're you're feeling as though changes need to occur. But I do feel with all the Cancer energy, the brand new beginning is coming through, and it does really create a beautiful new beginning. And that can be in love. It also can be in all facets of creating, taking time for self, being able to spiritually move forward, being open to new connections. As we have Aries and Chiron move retrograde, yes, people from the past can be coming back where we are having that soul healing with these individuals. So the constellation is Cancer. The color is green, which is heart chakra. Mars in Leo, which your zodiac sign is Mars in element. Currently, it's in your 5th house placement, and it is to do with creativity. It's also third eye and heart chakra. So green is still resonating within this as astrology and psychic energy. Nurturing, nourishment, mothering, fertility, beauty, healing, growth. Earth Mother, spiritual growth, sustenance. Now, in reverse, it's almost the reflection of what wasn't working, okay? It doesn't mean, and this is a very temporary energy, and I'm psychically seeing this to be a 1-week interval. We can feel very victimized, very bold, very direct. After we shift beyond that point, we're going to be having the ability to go, okay, regardless of what X, Y, and Z is, what now can we do to move forward, to heal and really gain our power back? And the good thing is, I'm going to pull another chakra card. Do balance the yellow chakra, okay? Because you've got 5th house placement. As it moves forward, will become more logical when Venus enters Virgo, but it can be very practical. Venus and Virgo. I'm laughing because I know somebody in the house that has Venus and Virgo, and we have spoken about Venus and Virgo. I do have to do some videos based on what these placements mean and how your demeanor can come through with Venus and Virgo. You will know how to woo people. You know where that spot is. Giggle's laughing. I knew she would. But Giggle has Venus and Virgo, okay? They take it upon themselves as a job to appease you. Okay, how is this Venus and Virgo? It's not what you say, it's what you do, and it's how you do it, right? Yep. I don't feel, how do I put it? I do feel this is almost like a rebirth for you, Aries, and I feel that there's this innocence. Some of you also, and I'll just be perfectly honest, I mean, this came through in my soul healing. Sometimes we can have an experience and believe the story of what we want in life. And it's almost like we can repeat these patterns. And I'll tell you a personal story that is almost mimicking this scenario shift. And it may be that in our life that we thought that we, you know, at the moment it's personal to you because Aries is in the house. Mars is transiting there in Aries and Chiron. So for you personally, you're going to be looking at what your part in a circumstance and a healing was, of where sometimes these things were out of your control, but you had to heal yourself. Now, this might have been that you were growing up and you had to nurture yourself. This might have been that in your childhood you had to be everyone. Regardless of how it's happening, some of us can have hopes and dreams and maybe not want to repeat those patterns from our childhood or from a previous wound. And not all wounds just come from childhood. They're from direct experiences that we have. For some of you, it may have been you had a storyline that you wanted children, okay? Or you wanted to return to innocence to be able to purify a situation, you know, regret, wishing you could turn time back and you could regain that. And it's a bit like an awakening. It's like, I wish I didn't know what I know now because, you know, ignorance was bliss. And once you become more awake, you're more logical to the way you're directly relating to people. So if this was a pain body experience, I do feel you're logically looking at it and you're looking at where you are today, not what the previous stream was, where you actually directly are today and what that new energy can be. So 9 times out of 10, the healing that we're doing and the memory and the hope and the dream we're having was more resonating with the past over where we are today. And that's why we say it's important to come back to this one moment. And I do really feel, Aries, you're having a revelation, not just to do with your past, but to do with where you are currently on the planet right now with your hopes and dreams and aspirations. And that's really shifting. Saturn's retrograde in your 11th house. That's really shifting. So you can feel as though you need to be fancy free just for 2.5 logically to look at the new version of yourself to go, right, I'm ready for this. But I do see you looking at a love interest. I do see you looking at a current love connection. And I also feel some of you may have really had to face a shadow of separations, disconnections, what that meant in the past. And yes, we can go again into victim consciousness. So the way it's making sense to me is, A, you do know what you want. You do know who you want, what you want, how, what, where, why, and how is being worked out at this point. Yes, is there regret? That may be, you know, other people have achieved certain goals that you haven't. Yes, okay. Is there fear that maybe you won't be able to achieve these things? Yes, but you have that kind of co-creative energy behind you, which is really beautiful, and this can be an extremely successful month for all of us, including you. Now, the hard aspect is Jupiter and Neptune is transiting in your 12th house, so be gentle on yourself. This can be a beautiful placement or it can be a hellish placement. But the beautiful thing is the reality of what you're going to realize is whatever needs to move, it's so that you can have inner peace. Whatever you're needing to dump, it's so that you can have inner peace, because it can be affecting you psychologically. I do feel you want more peace. I do feel you are looking at the rationale of the 3D world and knowing that, yes, we need money and shelter and food and love and safety. But you also need your spiritual being as well. And so it's never been that you don't have the power. You actually do. It's just that at the moment when there's pauses and there's blocks, it's because it's universe has got your back. It's almost saying to you, whoa, 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 you are better than this. And I don't mean better than using power. It's like, whoa, put the pause button on. Have a look at these shadows. What did that mean? What did you learn? Doesn't resonate with you anymore. Now that you are this new version and you realize you're empowered and you can take control and you can do it, what do you want to do with this new story? Okay? And the thing is, some of you might just need to take 2.5. I'm literally telling you, it's not that you're not going to get the dream. It's that some of those old dreams don't resonate with you at the minute. And they were nightmares, okay? So what you're doing is leaving the nightmares behind and you're moving into a brand new storyline. And the funny thing is, I told you that this read would be straight on the mark. Let me put it this way. This links two time frames. Number one, you're going to have the strength to move forward. We have Venus in Leo, entered on the 27th of June. Mercury is also in Leo. This is Leo. This is giving you the oomph to both take the direct steps, to communicate, to speak from your truth, to speak and say what you want to create. You're manifesting it. Magician energy. We're also having Aries and Chiron go retrograde. Okay? When that moves retrograde, the healing that comes up will be right in front of your face and you'll have the forward movement. And sometimes we can think, oh my God, you know, Aries and Chiron going retrograde. You're going to go inside yourself and find the solution and come to your truth. You're going to have the revelation. You can have the star, but some things weren't meant to be. And what do I mean by that? It's like, it's more the way the story was to be told. So like I said, I was going to give you an example. For many, many years, I had this dream, and this was from a very young age. It was like, okay, you know, I would be asked by different people, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? Yours? Oh, I want to get married, you know, have a white picket fence and have children. Universe knows what your soul needs. Some of us believe in past lives. Some of us who theoretically have reincarnated. Your soul has a destiny. It's in our astrology charts. It's in our aura. We have a destiny, what we're meant to be. So we can look at beautiful experiences and adverse situations, but all of them shape us. And it is the glass half full or the glass half empty of what, you know, it creates. So initially, that was my goal, right? Polar opposite, because the ego, your energy, is saying this is what is destined for my soul. the lessons that come are destined for our soul and who we're meant to be. So logically, it was like, look, this is my story, you know, this is what I want to happen. Everything polar opposite to that did frankly happen. I worked 2 jobs. I was always working. I did end up becoming a mother, yes, but it was a single mother. I had to work still, you know. So again, it wasn't the storyline I'd wanted for myself. And for many, many years, I did have wounds relating to children, because after that I was told I couldn't have children prior to that. And through my twin flame journey, it was like, you know, want kids. Twin didn't want kids. Twin had the kids. I had one. So now where I'm at in my story, I have a different perspective that universe gives me what I need. I don't question universe. Because where I'm at right now, it makes sense to me. It does make sense. Well, what do I mean by it makes sense? There are certain reasons certain things happen to free you for the future moving forward in any which way it's supposed to be. So you do really need to trust in what universe gives you. That they can become tools for your life. They can be lessons and blessings, and you just have a different perspective, and it really heals you. So Aries, if this is a wound, be it your childhood, and we can say to ourselves, gee, you know, why has this happened to me? Why wasn't I born with a silver spoon in my mouth? Why did I have to be that octane in this lifetime for other individuals? You're going to get the healing in it, but it's going to make sense to you during that Aries and Chiron retrograde. I do feel a lot of forward movement, but you have worked incredibly hard this year, and you do need to be more gentle on yourself. If something to you isn't resonating, be it's your work, be it's being everything to everyone, which is 1st and 7th house, Aries and Chiron is going to do that to you, you'll logically understand that nobody in the world expects you to be perfect. And you shouldn't expect that either. That you can have success moving forward. Adversity is part of universe, but it doesn't mean to say that we need to manifest into our lives. It's like if it's there, we deal with it. But I do feel during Jupiter and Neptune retrograde, it has been affecting the way you're viewing things. You have maybe had way too much going on. You're wanting peace, but you're seeing reality versus delusional. Okay, some of us higher and lower octane during the Pisces transit, we're getting the warnings. If we have unhealthy habits, we're going to understand we have to shift them for our sake, because it is it's a little bit like a band-aid. Okay, so sometimes we can look at habits, we can look at devices that we use. It can be eating, it can be, and I just had the ping in my ears. It can be the eating, it can be the drinking and doing things to pacify a situation due to stress. So whatever that band-aid is, the band-aid really is an issue, but it's an added issue. It's what's underneath, which is the environment. Is it the environment, the situation, people, places, things? Once we have that revelation and make peace with it, it then energetically shifts and we have some sense of, and I really think that you guys are doing that. You're kind of looking at going, not really liking this. Okay, 3 cards for love. I think you're being gentle on yourself. I do think that you you have been going through a massive healing state, and you have been both 3D and 5D, which is a bit of a headache, to be quite honest. It takes multitasking to do such. So if you found you were having to tackle a lot of circumstances, maybe going through a bit of shadow work, not really feeling yourself, it is going to shift. You are going to feel better. Love for Aries, please. It's looking good. This has been coming up. Okay, now number 1, I do feel Aries, you guys are knowing that you have to be strong, and you know, decisions are going to be made. I do feel you know what you want, but you do have fears, okay? The fear is this person going to accept me? Am I going to be abandoned? Is this person going to love me? Is it going to be okay? Rejection. I do feel regardless, you're going to be looking at it very logically, okay? Venus entering Virgo is us being our own undoing. But it's good because you're lucky you have that placement there. You won't be able to lie to yourself. You'll be like, you're only telling yourself this story because you're scared, but it's okay, do it anyway. And I do feel really you guys are going to be doing such. You're going to take the steps. You could be second-guessing yourself. Don't know why I'm hearing a song. Daisy. Daisy. What is that song, Giggle? Is it the laundry lady? Daisy. Da, 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 da. Do you know the song I'm talking about? Is it the cleaning lady? This is really weird. It might be just for giggle. I'm not sure. Daisy, the singing lady. Do you know the one I'm talking about? I just heard that song in my head. It's something to do with a cleaner. I swear it's about a cleaner. I'm going to have to find it. I might link it. This might be something to do with such. I do feel a bit of OCD, but there's regrets for that point. I do feel that this is to do with maybe being told that you guys couldn't go there because something was going down in the house. There could be some changes happening in the house. But again, I feel there's information about what has happened there. I'm going to link the song because I feel it has a subliminal message in it. Look, one side of this fence in love, it's like having to leave something behind that wasn't working. One may not be working in this connection, the other may. But I'm also feeling a past tense date is being made reference to of when this movement was supposed to happen. And it might have been in relation to something happening at the home, something changing in the home, and that's what the delay was, and that's the message coming through. That can be for Aries or the romantic interest, but it does feel they're making a reference to a date, but what is being shown to me is around the 15th there can be massive movement. I do feel there still can be movement in the next week, but we need to be very careful the way we communicate with each other because we can be a bit egoic. It can be very passionate and loving, very vivacious. Don't randomly change any hair colors or do anything super, super extreme. You can do it. Just look at it from a polarity of, is there something going on inside? If you have dealt with that and it's just, hey, point blank, zero, you feel like, becoming a different vibration, that's fine. But if there is something psychologically going on, where it's triggered that situation, have a look at that. Any questions? I do feel this is a key point time though. Now these changes, this person is going to be willing to do the changes. Yes, they will leave the past behind them. But I do feel cleaning shop. It's almost like cleaning out the old, out with the old, in with the new. So it will be a new way that this circumstance will be dealt with. And honesty and revelations will happen. Now, I do feel there can be some money that comes to you, and I do feel that will be between the third week. I also feel for your health and well-being, you do need to look after yourself with your health this month, okay? We do have Virgo placements there. Be careful of your eating, your health, what you're ingesting. Take a logical approach to it, but also keep your stress levels down. Be quite practical. You may find practical ways that you can get projects done, that you can deal with love, that you can deal with your contracts, but will be more logical by mid-month. Will just be a bit more vivacious and maybe egoic in the first week. Any questions? And yes, I'll be here to do the Twin Flame updates. We are going to be live this Friday in the Twin Flame room, and the following week it will be live on the main page here, okay? So it's only 2 times a month that they're actually in the Members Hub. It's the beginning and the end of each month, so it does roll over, so it's 2 sets and then it kind of goes again, if you get what I mean. If you know what I mean. Who do we want next? Do we want Leo or do we want Sag? Leo or Sag? Interesting that they had the same ruin as Libra. Kind of makes sense. Headaches. Really watch the headaches, Aries, and look after your health and what you're doing, because you can get a bit run down. I do feel some of you could be in a little bit of hermit mode temporarily whenever that happens, but I'm seeing hermit mode. A pause. 3 days. Yeah, maybe 3 days. That's it. Don't be hard on yourself, though, because these energies are shifting, and this is really the month where we're going to have revelations and we're going to be able to shift. Shift and move about and change. If you do want to get updates, please do subscribe to the website, because I have been sending emails out relating to astrology, and I am adding more posts that will be twin flame astrology, moon energy. I'm updating both Facebook and Instagram at the moment, that you guys will get different content on each platform. It's taking a little bit of time, and we are going to have new content on YouTube as well. So pause with me while I'm rebuilding. We are in 2021, which is a 5. It's hard yards. Okay, my lovelies. I will be back in a minute. Thank you for liking, because it does shift the video through the algorithm. If you don't, it just chucks it to the dump. I don't care if you dislike it. You can dislike it, you can like it, you can do whatever you want. Comment. Anywho, love and light. I'll be back soon.